Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the GT Challenge. It is Series 3 now. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and joining me once again is Aidan Millwall throughout the season as we return to Spa Francorchamps. And I say return because obviously we were here for the BMW Series just last week, which was the warm-up for the GT Pro Series. So we've already had a lot of racing here, Aidan, and we had some cracking races as well.
Yeah, we had two new winners in GT Pro. We had two different manufacturers winning in GT Pro, and now it's the turn of the GT Challenge competitors. So this is like the feeder series for the grand sort of what's it called, the pinnacle of GT racing in rFactor 2 here at Spa. So GT3s and Spa. It's a combination that it combines like cheese on toast. Everybody loves it for some reason. It's just Spa and GT3s. It's all anybody wants to have a race.
That's a very English thing, by the way, cheese on toast. I'll get back to that in a moment. But as you can see, it is going to be two sprint race and a main race, 15-minute and a 45-minute race. The sprint race will have a top 10 reversal going into the main race, which means first will start 10th, 10th will start first, and vice versa. It is going to be a dry weather once again, and there's 30 drivers once again today. But going back to the cheese on toast, you see, I was talking about Worcestershire sauce. What's the best thing for Worcestershire sauce? Well, it's on cheese on toast. And then all my viewers, which are mainly European, Germans, Portuguese, are all like, cheese on toast? Who does that? I'm like, that's sacrilege. It's like a standard thing for British students and anyone that's grown up in England.
It's one of those things you just survive on. You're doing a 24-hour race, cheese on toast. It's a great snack to have, but I don't think anybody will be needing any extra sustenance to get through this because they'll be too busy concentrating on getting through. As we can see, Yuri Toman there as one of our previous winners, along with, sorry, the Discord stream is a bit compressed, so it's a bit difficult to see that. So that's the previous winners on your screen right now, and you can see the rest of it's blank. But we have Spa, then we go to Silverstone in 2 weeks' time, which should be a great race, especially if rain comes into play, because Silverstone and rain, again, that's a combination that always goes together.
Absolutely. Yuri Toman doing fantastic there. Obviously did very well in the BMW series as well. Got himself second place. And it was actually Shinchik that actually came out on top again, 2 times running. So we'll see. Obviously, he's going to be taking part today, see whether he can step up his game. And as you can see, this is the road to season 3 for the GT Pros. It's all about the promotion relegation. Obviously, you want to be in the top to start with and get a direct promotion. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you got to go through that promotion relegation. Some fantastic racing in that series as well. It's generally a 10-driver shootout. Can be pretty lively. And as you can see, we also have drop downs because we are in the GT Challenger here. Obviously, there are ways to feed into the GT Challenge series as well, and many series going on actually. While we got 30 great drivers here, we've got hundreds more waiting in the wings.
Yeah, some drivers will be dropping down after this round, so those who are in the bottom sort of few positions are going to be sweating and hopefully have to get through without being wiped out or somehow coming a cropper in someone else's accident, because they'll be racing in split 2 of GT Challenge. And they call it split 3, but it's 2 separate divisions. But yeah, it's going to be hard for anybody who has 2 successive bad races. So those who are in the drop zone currently are going to need to pull their finger out. And it's pretty dark out there.
Yeah, wow, okay. It's a night race. I mean, they said it was going to be dry, summer, sunny, but, I wasn't expecting a pitch black night race, but that could make things interesting. But you can't see much of the Varga sim racing because it is a black car in itself, so it's just the headlights beaming through. But we'll see how these do. And in case, if you are a viewer, obviously coming from the GT Pro series, then you must realize, obviously, in the challenge, we don't have the system, the veto system that we went through, the draft system effectively, so there's no weight penalties effectively on anyone, multiple cars off the same car. So we're expecting to see basically bring to the table what you want, what you prefer. Obviously there has been some BOP changes as well, Aidan, last week, so we'll see whether that affects the GT Challenge like it did with the GT Pro.
Yeah, I haven't actually been able to see the BOP. I don't get the email updates anymore and anything like that. But still, we'll be able to see who is going to come through over the course of the evening. You see, Yuri Toman is currently up. Well, he's currently fastest overall in the first sector. He's just coming up towards Stavolo, and that's up again. out of Stavlo up the hill. Second, well, this is probably the fastest part of the track because it is just flat out, as sectors 1 and 3 are here at Spa. Coming up towards Blanchimont, taken flat out in virtually every racing car that has a modicum of downforce. And then towards the bus stop, well, it's not really a bus stop anymore, but it's still called the bus stop. Heavy braking zone, great place to get some overtaking done over the curbs. Try and get a good exit. Eurotoman comes towards the start-finish line. It's currently sitting about a 2:13, 2:14 dead. It's not the fastest. He is 4 thousandths off Marcel Chinchik at the top of that table. As Martin Dillon for Jean Lazy Esports. Now Darren Rocek for Burst Esports goes fastest. That's 6/10 faster than Martin Dillon. That's one hell of a lap for Darren Rocek there.
That was definitely a step up when we were looking how close things were, and then Rocek just throws in an absolute blaster. So fantastic stuff for him. We're watching Dennis Lind here. Yeah, I was really disappointed actually talking about the bus stop. It's like, it's now just chicane. It's just like, give it a fancy name. Give it something. Like, bus stop was good, but now it's just chicane. It's like, well, okay. I mean, it is what it is, right? It says it kind of describes what it is, but it's a disappointing name for it.
Yeah, it's part of the overtaking, isn't it? As Montono settles in between Dillon and Rocek. Montono having another good outing this evening. He was actually the winner of the first race at Imola.
The sprint race, yeah.
Yeah, in between Darren
stuff,
Rocek and Martin Dillon there. And then Roman Jakubovic. So I see some pretty quick laps coming in. But Darren Rocek, what a lap. Still 4.471 up on the Bentley and Martono.
See what the Varga Sim Racing guys can come back with. Obviously, they put in a great performance previously. Is there no Schmidl? There's no Schmidl that I'm seeing yet so far. No. I don't think it's in there so far. Diogo Silva also did very well last week, along with Johannes Drees. And his brother doesn't take part, right? It's Johannes that's in this, not Philip, if I'm not mistaken, 14th.
Yep, and Dennis Lind, the professional GT driver for Lamborghini, driving an Audi here tonight. He's in second place, so a great opening salvo from Dennis Lind there to get his car into second place, because he didn't turn up for the first round, so he's down there at the bottom. So he's going to want to have the best 2 races he can, so he doesn't get dropped down to Division 2 for the next round at Silverstone.
So now that the times are settling down, see whether anyone else can pop in some new purple sectors. Everybody's starting to settle in, as you can see, halfway through the quali. Matt Richards down in 10th place, could be on the bubble. Ramo Malona did very well last week, a little off the pace at the moment, 0.8 away, so quite a lot of time, really quite a big time, honestly, from just Rocek. Darren Rocek's time has just blown everybody away so far, 0.4 faster. 4/10 is a lot of time to find for some of these drivers, as we see Prodan going through the chicane and over the line, improving his time, but is it going to be enough? It's definitely going to be outside. A 2:15, that's 2 seconds, a full 2 seconds adrift from Rocek's time. That's massive.
Yeah, Jake Stout for Citrus Develops, using the same Audi as team boss Dennis Lind. 27th position overall, now to 22nd, so that's an improvement for him. Almost half a second up on his previous best, so that's a good improvement right there for him. Now Marcel Chinchik, he's just coming out of Fania and up towards Stavolo, a place where you can easily drop the car onto the... Oh no, now he's at Fania, sorry, that was the exit of Poo one he was just coming through. It's I don't know what it is about night racing, it's like someone comes along and moves all the corners around and like shortens the straights, but now he's coming through Stavolo. Like I say, easy to drop the car on the gravel there and lose some time, because you need the best exit possible to maximise your top speed all the way at the run towards the bus stop. He's actually set the fastest overall in the middle sector. Marcel Chinchik looking to get up there with Rocek and Lind. So we've got Bentley, Audi, Bentley, McLaren in the top 4 currently, and then it's Martin Dillon in another Bentley. So McLaren, Bentley, Audi, they're the cars to have at the minute in the top 10.
Looking good for Chinchik here, though. This is maybe a top position spot. Let's see, he's about to go over the line. He does steal pole by 1/100 of a second. So Chinchik, we knew he had more in the back. pulls out a great time. Let's see if those times can tumble now with just under 6 minutes to go here as we go around Spa. And obviously looking forward, we're expecting a lot of overtaking down the Kemmel Straight, see what can happen there. That's generally where most of the action was happening before. Obviously, it's all about getting that drag and that drift as much as you can down the straights. Philip Dries put in a great performance. Actually, I believe he disconnected in the BMW Cup. I don't know whether it was lag or what he did, but either way, he was running in second place, and then boom, off he went, and we never saw him again. It was a straight DNF from then. But so I hope there's no gremlins in his system. He's got them out of the way, and looking to see if he can improve his time. At the moment, he's down in 15th. Let's see, it's looking to be a better time right now as he goes over the line at 2:14. That moves him up a little bit. Only to 13th, though. It needs to be better. And speaking of better, Yuri Toman has just thrown in a quicker time. He's now in third.
Yeah, now we're starting to see times get a little bit closer at the top. So there's just 100th, exactly 100th in it between Chinchik and Marocek. But then a little bit of a gap to time in behind. But still, the top 15 or so within that 1 second bubble. So still mighty competitive out there at the minute.
Felton's over the line. That's only a 2:15. That's well adrift at the moment. Kish just come through. That's looking good for him in 5th place. Ramo Milana has put in a better time. We were talking about how he had a great performance before. He's coming in 6th place right now. So the qualifying times definitely starting to tumble as everybody gets their eye in. Look at this. Jakovic got himself a purple first sector. Looking a great start for him. So let's see what he can do. See, improve his time. Obviously, you can see it was 0.5 adrift in his first time. Looking good so far, though. You were talking about the fact that the Audis and Bentleys here, they are the cars really at the moment, it seems, certainly on this current build.
Yeah, the Audi does bake its rear tyres, though, so that'll be interesting to see come the actual 45-minute feature race that we've got later on tonight. Just having a look, Daniel Kish up there in 5th position, a spot that was previously occupied by Matt Richards, who's dropped down to 8th. But also there in the Sancho stable is Matt Webb. He's back for this round. He missed the first round, but he's here for the second round. Hopefully he goes well in the GT3s here tonight. Podium at the iRacing Bathurst 12 hour. So he knows his way around a GT or two.
Oh, it goes yellow, unfortunately, so doesn't improve in the middle sector. See what he's got towards the tail end as he comes sweeping through the corners. Slowly approaching the bus stop. Hard on the brakes. Quick right and a left, back onto the straight. It's at 2:07 already. He's chasing a 2:13.3. Looks like he's going to be a little adrift from that, but still could be a decent time to improve his position. It is. Well, no, actually doesn't improve his time. Doesn't improve his time. Stays in 9th, but who's someone who did improve his time was Matt Richards. Goes up into 8th in the Zancho. Suddenly looking good for the Zancho boys, Aidan.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Not yet. Not yet.
Look, I can see your face. This is the thing, right? Nobody else can. I can see your face. I remember seeing the picture, the face of despair from Rene from the GT Pro last week.
Yeah,
so I get to see
I may have print screened that and dropped it in the chat. Oh dear, Henry Cynic, a driver you expect to be a bit further up at the minute. He's only down in 22nd.
He did the same last week, right? He had a poor quali and then had a great race, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he started like 18th last week. I say last week, it's 2 weeks ago, obviously. Last race. And then ended up having a fantastic time and ended up, I think, at 10th or 11th. Chinchik flying. Maybe a bit of Lewis Hamilton as he goes off the track a bit there. But Chinchik currently purple in both first and second sectors. And at the moment, looking fantastic as he looks to chase and improve his already pole position time.
Yeah, we'll get Ed Trevelyan Johnson to send a note to the stewards and get him to stop doing that. But still, he's up again. He's pulled another 10th out in the middle sector. Chinchik could be looking to get that little bit of an extra buffer between him and Marocek. I mean, qualifying is one thing, the actual race is something else. As again, to reference the Formula One, you know, Verstappen much quicker in qualifying, ended up losing the race by the smallest of margins, but still Marcel Chinchik comes across the line and it's a 2:13.2. It's faster overall. Gets that 10th in between him and Marocek, but here comes Diogo Silva. He's on a personal best. He's 12th. He could potentially, he's 2 tenths up. Where is he? He could end up in the top 10 here if he puts it all together.
It was over the line.
What a lap!
Pulling a smashing lap in the end. Diogo Silva, go Diogo, I believe the chap was, but into third place. Looking fantastic with just a couple of, well, a minute to go here. See if anyone else can improve on that. They're all out racing at the moment. See if they can improve that time. But that has definitely knocked Yuri Toman down. What's he doing? Matt Webb, purple in the first sector, looking great as he tries to put it together and improve his time. Who's way down at the moment. So he really needs to put in a good lap at the moment.
Yeah, here is Matt Webb making his debut in GT Challenge. He's done the fastest first sector, coming through to Pouan. Pretty tricky corner because you don't want to run too far wide and pick up a cut track here. Still nice and clean. Sector 2 is probably, I don't think he's not going to finish this lap because it will click over to the warm-up session very shortly. So unless he's got a warp drive in the back of that car, I don't think he's going to be finishing this lap.
It's a shame because it does look like it's going to be a good lap as well. So
yeah, he's half a second faster on his previous best through sector 2. Come on, Matt, get your foot down, lad.
Got to try and finish it on time. Otherwise, it's going to be starting in 26th. It's a shame because this is looking like a top 10 at least.
Yeah, I was expecting the thing to just pop straight over like it does in BMW Cup, but it looks like that isn't the case. So
they can finish the lap, yeah.
Yeah, he'll come through and finish the lap. Won't be the fastest overall, but still decent improvement from Matt Webb. What's it going to be? It's 2:14.6. He's still in 26. He lost half a second.
Massive loss in the end
there. In that third sector. So
he even lifted. He didn't.
Must have been a terrible bus stop. Richards also half a tenth down in off his best in the middle sector, so can't see him improving here.
Yeah, looking a little adrift at the moment, but I'm a little surprised to see Cito Vaya so far down as well on the list. See whether he can try and improve. And as you were talking about Shinnick earlier on, he's way down in 24th. So some real surprises, I think, it's safe to say here at Spa, to see where they're going to be starting on the grid. At the moment, though, it is Shinchik on pole position with Rochak just up behind. 2 big laps from them. Kish, massive improvement from him, and Yuri Toman in 4th. So, and Dennis Lind, great to see him obviously here. I don't think if I'm not mistaken, he had to miss the first race because he was obviously away on testing, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have access to any rig.
He was over here.
He was in the UK,
yeah, for British GT. So yeah, he missed the first round because of that, but he's a professional racing driver and a very good sim racer as well. So Dennis Lind can probably just drop in like he's never been away.
It feels like he has. He's certainly just turned up and absolutely delivered. But as you can see, here we are. So that's the qualifying done. We know our grid. We'll get to that in a moment, just show you exactly all the positions as they're standing. You can see it is just round 2. We started out with a cracking first race, and now we are here on Spa Francorchamps, and then we'll be moving to Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. The GT Pro and the BMW M2 Series will be all moving there next Monday. So every single Monday, there's going to be rFactor 2 action from the GT Series. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be starting things off with a 15-minute sprint race. That's what that qualification was all about. The top 10 grid will then switch, and that is based on the placements in the race, and that will move on to the main race. Most of you guys here have already seen this before, so you're going to be completely aware of how this works out. As you can see, it is a 30-driver grid. Now, the question is, Aiden, will we be racing in the dark?
I hope so, because it usually throws everything into the mix. You know, add a bit of rain, add a bit of nightness, and everything just
makes us question the corners they're on.
Goes crazy. I mean, we saw in the feature race in GT Pro last week, it was just absolute carnage on the first lap, and Yuri Kazdor just kept his foot pinned, and he went from near the back to 8th in between the Source and the Kemmel Straight. So everyone's just going to have to be chill. Everyone's going to need to be careful. Yeah, yes, it's a sprint race, but let's not do any silly dive bombs. Let's not try to win it at turn 1. No if gap car. Let's just have some nice clean racing here tonight.
And if I'm not mistaken, after the warm-up lap, they can start basically. There's a distance after bus stop, right? It's not like directly after bus stop. It's through chicane and away they go.
It's up to the start-finish line. I think the game is actually going to tell them when they can go, or Jimmy's going to tell them in their ear when they can go. So expect them to be dropping the pit limiter between the exit of the bus stop and the start-finish line, which isn't where it is in virtually every other sim and game on the planet, where it's not right at the back of the grid. It's actually the timing line at the front where the checker flag is and the starting gantry. So it's a bit further along than what you'd expect.
Yeah, make sure everybody kind of gets through the chicane safely before there's just like some chaos at the back that's going on there. But yeah, so as you can see, ready to go. We're hopefully going to get the grid on in just a few moments. And we'll see exactly where they are. But some cracking front laps. It's very interesting. It's different for me, obviously, from watching the Pro Series for the last 2 seasons. The gap between first place and 30th normally was like about a second at max in the Pro Series, in the top series. Whereas here we were looking at a 2-second plus gap.
Yeah, obviously the talent levels between the top guys in GT Challenge and the guys near the back is going to be a little bit bigger. Because it's kind of like, to use a football analogy, it's like you'll have a team that absolutely dominates a lower league, and then they go up into the Premier League, and they're
bottom of the table again. Yeah,
they're too good for one split, but not good enough for the next split, as it were. But some guys do go straight in and are immediately competitive. Some people struggle. Some people take time to adapt. Everybody's different. But as you go further down, then it suddenly becomes like 2 leagues in one, where you've got like the top 50% and the bottom 50%, but there's still loads and loads of great racing all the way through.
Yeah, as you can see, much lighter now. We're not in the darkness, unfortunately. We were looking forward to it. Maybe we'll get some random raid clowns up here next time, Aidan. Hopefully that's what we can see. I mean, it is Silverstone next, so it's totally possible that there will be rain out there, that's for sure. But as you can see, just the warm-up now as they get ready to get on the grid. Hopefully no battery problems like Sergio Perez had. All these cars are all set up and ready to go.
Yeah, so they're just going around on a warm-up. They've got their race fuel in. Just get used to the weight of things. And within about 1 minute, 15 seconds, we'll be lining up on the grid. And everybody will be going on their formation lap. Problem with Spa, though, is that you're always on edge waiting because it's such a long lap. It's the longest track in the Formula 1 calendar. The rules are basically a track can't be longer than Spa and shorter than Monaco. So those are the 2 extremes. But it's going to be a long wait for them to get going. But when they do, we're going to have some fantastic racing.
Yeah, Spa is one of the tracks that I think is probably most drivers' favourite track. That's like really badly worded, but one of the favourite tracks for the majority of drivers out there. Certainly in real life, and I'm sure in the sim racing world as well. Yeah, Jakovic is having a good warm-up here, isn't he? He's having a fun time on the warm-up. I was just watching him. He's racing in the warm-up. I like it.
Well, you've got to get used to following people. You've got to try and learn what everybody else is like on track. You've got to see what's what with all the different cars going on there. You might as well try and do a bit of close drafting. Maybe try and save a bit of fuel. Slightly underfill your car just to knock off that extra half a kilo or whatever. It can make all the difference. This is Daniel Kish following one of the Pin Sim Drillers Audis through the chicane, and there we go. That's the end of the warm-up as Kish does a bit of a Tokyo drift on the exit of the bus stop, and that's the end of that. So we are about to go racing as Martin Dillon sets the fastest time overall, 2:14.3 in the warm-up, but that means totally nothing because we're not actually racing. We'll be in a couple of minutes.
I mean, it's a little test for the fully fueled car. Maybe he's just making a point out there, trying to make something out of it. But here we go. Let's have a look how things lay out for Spa as the sprint race beckons and the sunshine sets or rises, technically, because we just had nighttime. So, and let's have a look at the grid. Let's see how it all starts off. If you missed the qualifying, it was a 50-minute session to obviously get everybody warmed up and ready in qualifying. We had some cracking times in there. Chinchik starting things out on the pole position for Varga Sim Racing once again. David Vocek, a really great time from him, was setting the field apart for a brief period there. Daniel Kish, as you say, in third place for the Zan Show. Great time for him to split the Vargas as Yuri Toman in fourth. Dennis Lind in fifth place. Great to see him turning back up once again. Presley Martono, the winner of the sprint race last race, in sixth. Missed out seventh and eighth there. Martin Drillin in ninth. Rama Maluna, who actually was second as well in the sprint race, in 10th place. Matt Richards down in 11th. And Christian Michael down in 12th place. Further down the field, Borja Milan in 13th with his teammate alongside him, Nico Barkley, in 14th, hoping they don't connect at the start. Campamagian down in 15th place. And Philip Dreiss a little off the pace today in 16th. It's Philip, not Johannes. Apologies for earlier. Chris Shepard down in 17th. David Serra in 18th. Terza in 19th. And Cito Vaya way down in 20th place. I expected better from him. Stepan Kovalski in 21st. Vlad Tokarov down in 22nd. Valerad in 23rd. And Henry Sinek down in 24th position. A big surprise from us. Dafa Ardiansi, get his name right, Adiansa, sorry, apologies, in 25th. Matt Webb down in 26th. He was running in a purple first sector when we first saw him, but ends up with a bad last sector. And Felton's 29th, and Fernandez to roll out the grid in 30th place for DX Droids.
Can all change in this track, particularly if people come cropping through Eau Rouge. We saw a couple of bins there last week, so it can happen even to the best. Hopefully GT Challenge is totally clean. 16 minutes and 26 minutes on the clock. That's just to accommodate the formation.
Oh, hello.
We're in the dark times.
So apparently, it's basically it's late night, but it's going to go morning as it progresses. So it will go lighter and lighter as we progress through the race. So we're back in the night time, which is great to see. Things starting off in the darkness does make our jobs harder. There's no doubt about it. We got to get spotting these pretty well. That's
why I've got rFactor up on the other screen, so I can see all the timing going on and things like that. So just coming through to Puon right now. Like I say, that's 15 minutes 50 is just to accommodate the rolling start. So Bentley, McLaren. I know there's another Bentley in there somewhere, isn't there? It's quite easy to tell that Bentley apart. You've got the distinctive round headlights, and the fact that the thing is the size of a container ship.
The big bright burst Esports.
Yeah, so try not to get that stuck in the pit lane tonight. But the other thing is, we're using the full endurance pit lane, so anybody that gets a drive through either in this race or the next race will be
heavily penalised.
There will be words I'm not allowed to say on stream.
Yeah. Which we saw last week, obviously, a few times as well. So won't be too surprised to see any of that. We'll see how the racing goes, of course. Sometimes racing incident happens. Sometimes driver error happens. Hopefully we'll get none of that. As you can see, the time will be ticking. It is a long old drive around, as you were saying. It's still got a few more corners to get before they get hit the bus stop. Jesus, it's a long drive.
Yeah,
it's
over 5 kilometers. This track, I think, 5 or 6 kilometers. It's a very, very long track, but still one of the best in the world. Everybody loves this place. I don't know anybody that's ever had a bad thing to say about this track. Doesn't matter if it's open wheels, GTs, prototypes. Everything works here, even the lower powered stuff. As Mrocek and Chinchik go through the final corner, everything's a little bit messed up because of the chicane. Everybody backs up, and we are away. Chinchik drops the pit lane spin to manage to get things at start. Mrocek a little bit slow away. He's coming under pressure from the McLarens behind him, but that's Danny Kish up into second place, going into the source. They're 3 wide, no contact. Don't see any spinners going around in the background, but Chinchik has got the best drive possible. Danny Kish is going to be loving that in second place, but he's got that massive Bentley in his rearview mirror as they come through to Eau Rouge for the second time. Well, sorry, not the second time, the first time. Second time, yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh no! He's dropped it! He's binned it! That's total driver error. Absolute driver error from Kish there. You can see, Rocek was nowhere near in there, so that's complete driver error, trying to keep it flat down through Eau Rouge onto the Kemmel Straight, and a complete error coming through. Rocek definitely caught off guard at the start there. He was, I expected he came through the chicane way too fast. Chinchik just held him up, and then obviously you can never pull the time as he's accelerating past him there. But that moves Lind up to third place. Yuri Toman is still in fourth place. And now Diogo Silva, keep your eye on him. He's the big orange Bentley. You cannot miss it further down as things start to get a little lighter as we slowly go through. So Chinchik, great start for the Varga Sim Racing team once again. Yellow's in sector 2, so we'll keep our eyes on exactly what's happened further down the field. I didn't see anybody tumbling, so maybe that was someone further down the back. De Stout has gone off, so he's a DNF already.
Down in 27th. It looks like he may have got away with that. He took a little bit of a tap on the front end, but I don't think that's done too much damage. Hopefully he can carry on, and hopefully he won't retire the car. But we've got Yellows in sector 2 here as Chinchik has pulled out a 0.3 of a second lead. Dennis Lynn, a second back off the leader already. That Audi not quite there just yet, but maybe he could try and pull it back as we see Chris Shepherd here in 14th up the back end of his teammate Boya Milan. Shepherd in the Bentley, Milan in the McLaren. Two totally different choices there for those two. I'm sure they've got their reasons. But I've been getting word through that Kish actually went off through diffuser stall coming through Eau Rouge. And that put him into that neat little 360 and sort of gave up that little tap on the wall, as we now lost Henry Cynic as well. And that's another bin at the bus stop. Who was that? Cito Via now up into 13th. Yeah. He's loving life at the minute.
22nd or 20th, I think he was, up to 13th. That's a great start for him as well. Absolutely blitzing the field. Actually, Martin Drillin's going the opposite way. He's down to 8th now at the moment. Philip Dreiss also up to 10th place. So a great start from some of the guys further down. But look at that, Rama Milana. It must have been him because he's down in 27th. So he definitely has had a bit of an outing. Henry Cynic's off and gone. Chris Shepherd is also DNF. We just saw him obviously going off there. So didn't work out for him. So clearly put in a bit of a chance or a tester on Borja Milan. And got wiped out at the same time. Looks like Philip Dreiss having a little nibble at Matt Richards as they go down the Kemmel Straight.
Side by side. Oh, around the outside into the lake on. That's a brilliant move there from... sorry, it was David Serra on Cito Via. Right, I think I've managed to catch up now. My brain is almost functioning properly as Yellow's still flashing away at the top of the timing screen. But still, Marcel Chinchik has now almost half a second lead over Darren Rocek. Dennis Lynn has clawed that gap in very slightly, but then it's another half a second back to Yuri Toma. So Chinchik, Rocek, Lynn, Toma, Martono, Silva, Jakubowicz, Dillon, Richards, Dreiss is your top 10 as we are midway through the second lap of this race.
Cito Via definitely just lost that space, but I think he'll still be happy where he is at the moment. It's along with Terzi as well. So Terzi's clearly made a lot of ground up. If I'm not mistaken, he was down about 24th at the start. I have to have a look at exactly how many places they've made up. But as you can see, Marcel Chinchik, great start from him. Caught Rocek off guard. Enough that he lost his second place at the start. But obviously that has gone away now because of Daniel Kish's error. Diffuser stall, if you like to call. But Lyndon, Yuri Toman, got to put some pressure on here. I feel like there's starting to be a gap forming.
Yeah, I'm just seeing that Chris Shepherd's got a DQ next to his name on the timing screen. Let's have to see what that was for. If you can get,
yeah, it was just after we were following him because he was tracking behind Borja Milan, right, when they were 13th and 14th, and then he was gone. So I think he got maybe caught collateral damage at some point by one of the cars going off because we saw him spinning off just as we were watching his view. So I feel like he might have got collected off the car coming back from the barrier.
Well, Danny Kish has got himself back up to 20th already. That's some fine driving from the Hungarian there. No bias. Obviously, Matt Richards up into 9th, so if he stays where he is, he'll inherit second place for the feature race. And we saw that McLaren last week did pretty well in the hands of Jan van der Heide, even with that extra ballast on, as we're seeing Marcel Chinchik and Darren Rocek coming up towards Lake Carm. You can see all the lights there in the background, the numbers indicating which position each car is in, which is very helpful. And still anybody's to take the win here in the top 4.
So Shepherd didn't have his lights on. Didn't have his lights on. Oh dear. That's a DQ. That's a DQ. Didn't have his lights on. Forgot he didn't have his lights on. And well, that kind of sucks because he was up to like 13th, 14th. Okay, this is a replay from further down the field at the start there. We're looking at Velton's. Just get a little squirrely. You can see a couple of people making ground. I think that up front. Oh, we're watching that. I was looking at Cito Via making grounds there, but yeah, nothing.
That's why Jake retired. But yeah, talking about the headlights, Rory McDuff was actually doing the GT3E race at Bathurst at the weekend, and he drove around for a bit without his lights on. I don't think he realised that they were off because of all the other lights around him. So it happens, but you still get the warnings in the bottom left of your screen in the message box saying, please turn your lights on.
Well, sometimes when you're in the midst of racing, and he certainly was, he was hot on the heels of Borja Milan, who's now up into 12th place with Sarah just behind him, Cedar Viren 14th. The field we're looking at the moment right now is the front runners. Marcel Cinčić, great start from him, great qualify from him, and he's continuing to lead. But you can see Rocek is closing down. It was 0.5, it's now 0.3 as it bounces to 0.6 as they go through bus stop, but that's going to change a little bit through there. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, this was right at the start. So this was Daniel Kish, and you can see just lost it. I think it was just coming out of Eau Rouge.
I'm just going to go on board with Kish, actually, just to see. His steering doesn't look too bad. I think it's slightly off, but it's hard to tell when you're in spectator mode. But seems to be doing okay. He's down in 20th, but it could have been a whole lot worse, especially going off the track at Eau Rouge and Radiol, which is
flat out.
2 flat out corners. But still, diffuser stall not fun on the first lap of a race, especially when he was doing so well at the start. Qualified third, was up to second at that point, only to have that huge accident.
Not at the moment. Dennis Lin chasing down this front pack, but it does seem the gap is increasing. Rocek and Cinčić just slightly pulling ahead, so it's a second gap between the two at the moment, with Martono and Silva further back down the field. Jakovic had a great qualifying. He's up into 7th place. Martin Drillen looking great for him at the start, but he's down in 8th at the moment with Matt Richards on his heels. And Kapamagian still up into 10th place. Now, Borja Milan's just gone up to 11th. Somebody has just gone out further down the field. I don't believe, unless he took down, he didn't take Dries because Dries was behind him, so someone's gone.
Yeah, Donat Prodan's retired. He's now in 26th. Matt Webb running 25th and last currently. Just trying to see what else is happening. Gap between Rocek and Cinčić has gone up to nearly a second. So I think Cinčić must have had a blinder of a middle sector, or Rocek must have had a poor middle sector, because that gap was saying about 0.2, 0.3 of a second ago, and now it's gone right up.
Yeah, it's visible. You can see how much he's fell adrift and sort of falling further back into the claws of Dennis Lin. So definitely either a blinding lap from Cinčić or Rocek's made a bit of an error. Looks like that. Oh yeah, that bit Bentley was just a little squirrely there coming out of a chicane. This is looking further down the field. So Veltin's passing. Sorry, it looks like Kish actually doing the passing.
I just saw Kish going off at Blanchimont. So he's flashing, and now Kish coming into the pit lane for a penalty. So I think that must have been a track limits infringement for him. So never rains but pours.
Well, you did say if anyone's going to have a penalty, they're going to be screwed. And well, from that position, it doesn't really affect him too much. He's still way out the field. Diogo Silva under pressure from Jakovic here, trying to claw down the Kemmel Straight, but not getting as much drag as he'd like to see. Certainly very different in the GT Series cars in comparison to, say, the BMW Sim Series when we did last week, which were getting mega drags down the Kemmel. That was twitchy from Diogo. Oh, it's good again, surely.
He's baked those tyres. We were saying this, that the Audi does do that. But Diogo Silva still manages to keep ahead of Jakubovic, but Jakubovic and Deerland in behind now. So he's going to have that interior mirror absolutely blinding him with the lights of that Bentley and that McLaren chasing him. But don't count out Matt Richards. He's in the mix as well. But currently Cinčić, Rocek, Lin, Toman, Martono, Silva, Deerland, Richards and Kapamagian with 3 and a bit minutes left. A little bit of bumping and barging.
Drilling trying to have a little peek on Jakovic, and I think he's going to make it stick.
Going round
on the outside and then makes it work out from Jean Lacey Esports. A great manoeuvre from him, just penalising. And Jakovic got a little too close to Diogo Silva's rear. Diogo had an error, which meant Jakovic had to back off, and Drillen absolutely pounced on it.
But up to 7th now. You'd think he'd catch Diogo Silva by the end of this race. Dillon absolutely flying in virtually any car he gets into. But here's Rocek and Lind
Wow, he's
doing very well in that
real.
Audi, actually. So Lynn maybe trying to set Rocek up for a pass either into La Source if he gets a decent exit, or into Lake Calm if he absolutely hammers it through Eau Rouge.
Well, Shinchik has left them standing, or Rocek has got a problem right now, because he was right on the back of Shinchik, and now you can see Dennis Lind all over him. Yuri Toman just behind these, looking for an error here. That's a great drive coming out from Dennis Lind there, looking to get the full drag as they pull up towards Eau Rouge, and it might put him in a great position as they hit the Kemmel straight. See whether he's got enough. I mean, that Bentley's going to leave a big puncher hole in that air, isn't it? It's a massive car, that's for sure. So it's going to be a hell of a lot of drag as they get into the Kemmel.
He's fully in that slipstream now, that tiny little Audi around that monster of a Bentley. Dennis Lind was leading the real 24 Hours of Spa last year at one point. As he tries to throw it off the inside Bentley, he might have just found a gap big enough to get that Audi into. And he's going to have the inside for...
Roman's there as well.
And he's through. But what's going to happen down the hill towards Rivage? Dennis Lind goes onto the inside to cover the line off. Rocek might be able to swing it around the outside. It's downhill. He can carry quite a bit of speed through here, but no. Lind has got that second place from Rocek, and now Rocek is under attack from Yuri Toman.
Toman all over the back end. Got to be careful he doesn't go into defensive mode too quickly here. He really wants to retake that position. You can see Toman is actually just getting lifting a little bit too much there almost, as he tries to glide it round. And once again, back on the heels. He knows he hasn't really got an overtaking point here. He has to just stay as close as he can and try and reel them in as they go through that bus stop and get on the back end.
Something's not right with that.
Like Mr. Rocek. Yeah, he's sliding everywhere right now.
I think he might bite the tyres, because that Bentley was looking so stable up until now. So again, here's that hole being punched through the air as they come up the hill towards the bus stop. Toman's not going to be close enough here. I think he's going to end up getting past the same way that Lind did through that
We're going to have one lap left. We're going to be going into the final lap here, because there's no way Shinchik's going to get another lap in. So this is going to be, it is literally his chance to go for it, Yuri Toman. So he's got to get a good drive here as he comes out, looking further down the field. This is going to be back down to Philip Dries with Sarah up on his rear end. Cito Vaya just behind him, and Terzi as well, all having a little look as they go through the chicane. That's a great drive from Sarah to come around. He has absolutely done Philip Dries there.
Sorry, not the undercut, the cutback working very well. But now, just trying to set Sarah on the outside full of sauce, but Dries covers that inside line. Is there going to be another switchback from David Serra down the hill towards...
Makes it work so well.
He's made that work, but now... Dries is now under attack from Cito Vaya, so Vaya might be able to get some slipstream up to Lake Com, but we're not going to see that because we've seen the battle up towards Lake Com between Lind, Rocek, Toman. Toman not close enough, so it looks like Rocek has got enough just this time by.
So final lap coming up. Whoa, who was that? Absolutely blitzing down Kemmel. That looked like a great little maneuver. Yeah, Terzi's having a little pop as well. Cito Vaya does get right up on him. He's got to be defensive. Terzi right on his rear end at the moment. And so Cito Vaya being defensive. Remember, it's all about the top 10, though. Capamangian's the man they're chasing, but they're not going to reach him, it doesn't seem, because this pack is a little adrift from them, but they're all battling for position. It does look like it's going to be Shinchik to take a solid victory. 3.5 seconds ahead of Dennis Lind, Rocek, and Yuri Toman. What a great race from Marcel Shinchik once again here. And this is the battle at the moment. Is Yuri Toman going to have a chance? It doesn't look it. He's a little too far away from Rocek's back end, who's definitely sliding all over the place at the moment, trying to keep that Bentley under control. A great maneuver from Dennis Lind to move him up into that second place. And it's looking like it's going to be a great race for him here in the sprint. Of course, we're going to be moving on to the main race, which will be a 45-minute race, and these top 10 will be reversing. So Shinchik will be starting from 10th place, Dennis Lind from 9th, etc., etc. So every position counts, and of course it's all adding up in the points, accumulating towards the championship. But it does look like this front four is going to stay as is.
So Shinchik coming through the final corner. It doesn't look like that Toman's going to put a move on Rocek, so Rocek's podium is safe. Shinchik with a little bit of drift on the exit, flash of the lights. So Shinchik will take the win here in the sprint race, becomes the third different winner. Lind second, Rocek third, Toman fourth, Martono fifth. Silva just holds off Martin Dillon, Yakimovic 8th, Matt Richards 9th, and Luis Philippe Capamajan in 10th. Boya Milan just missing out on pole position for the feature race.
Been a great couple of weeks for Marcel Chinchik, picking up both wins in the BMW CMM2 racing so far, collecting himself €1,000 for that, and of course looking great here in the GT Challenge. But Dennis Lim was the man that made the moves, getting past Rocek there. Also further down the field, obviously we saw a couple of people making waves. Sidovire up into 14th as well, making his way up from 20th, I believe it was. So quite a few people making some moves. Martin Drillen, what a great overtake it was for him on Jakovic. Caught him napping as he tried to make that move on Diogo Silva. Also, we're having a look at a replay here. This is further down the field. Veltons we're watching here. So it looks like he's about to get his pocket picked. That's, you can see in front. There is 19th, 18th, and 17th battling. Oh no, they're going to collect each other. The Veltons is going to gain 18th place because of that.
Yeah, he picked that up from Nico Barkley with meters to spare. So Barkley down in 20th. He's going to have to try and get some extra points in the next race. And Daniel Kish finishing at the back of the field after what could have been a promising race from the Hungarian. But still, honours go to Marcel Chinchik for this round. And there's your results. Marcel Chinchik wins from Dennis Lind, and then Davin Rocek in third. Could have had second, but probably just lost his tyres towards the end. Yuri Timonen in fourth, just missed out on the podium spots there. Presley Martono, very good performance from the newcomer. Diogo Silva in sixth, Martin Dillon in seventh for John Lazy Esports in that Bentley. Roman Jakubovic in eighth, Blackhawk Racing, Matt Richards in ninth, and Luis Philippe Capamajan for HM Engineering. So that will be flipped upside down, and that will be your grid for the feature race.
Capamajan going to be leading for the pack, and see whether Matt Richards can put him under pressure. But some great overtakes there throughout. Marcel Chinchik, a masterclass almost from him. Led from the start, caught Rocek off his game at the start. I did wonder, actually, as soon as we saw him coming through the bus stop, it just looked like Rocek was way too far ahead. So he had to give up that ground, obviously, to Chinchik, the leader, to start the race off. And well, you're never going to be able to catch a car that's accelerating past you instantly. But yeah, great maneuver from Dennis Lind to gain that second place. And just unfortunate for David Kish to not be in that position, obviously, after the start that he had. So we'll see what he can make up as we move into the main race, hoping to see him make some moves.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get back. He's a very, very quick driver. And here's the next 10. Boya Milan for Juan Acco in the McLaren, obviously just missed out on pole position. David Set for DX Droids, great performance with him in 12th. Philip Dries in 13th. Silavaya managing to get from near the back to sort of the mid-pack in that opening lot of carnage. And then Andrea Terzi for Wayframe Esports in that Audi in 15th. Dafa Andrianza for JMX Phantom in 16th. And then Daniel Stepkowski for RSR in 17th. Christian Mikel, 18th for Nita Velux. Ian Veltes for Scuderia Leone in 19th. Nico Barkley just missing out on 19th place on the line. Vlad Tokarev in 21st. Matt Webb 22nd. And then Andika Ramamilana 23rd. And Daniel Kirsch bringing up the rear. So we lost Giancarlo Velarde, Donat Prodon, Ilias Fernandez, Henry Sinek, Jake DeStout, and Chris Shepard disqualified for not having his lights on.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened to Prodam. We didn't see him go out, but obviously he was running in the top 10 at the time, so not great for him. Obviously, Chris Shepard, he's not going to be making the same mistake again as we start the main race. Surely, surely we'll start the race with his lights on as we move into the main race. So that was the 15-minute sprint race. Now we move on to the feature race, the 45-minute extravaganza, effectively. What's that say on it? What's that say on it?
Tim Hortons.
Tim's, okay, yeah. Tim Hortons, yeah, it's the Canadian chain.
Dry throat.
So, there we go. We're giving them a bit of advertising. I won't put mine up because it's a certain brand. Not too sure how the sponsorship's working just yet in the GT Pro. Maybe I can get some for them in the challenge. But at the moment, some fantastic racing. We're hoping to see a lot more of it. As you can see, action-packed. Ordinarily, when we move into the main race, especially for somewhere like Spa, obviously in a normal track, we'd be looking at it and thinking, okay, maybe they'll settle down for 20 minutes and then they'll start making the moves as we get into the last 25. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around. I think we're going to be seeing action throughout 45 minutes.
Well, you'd hope we would get some action for the whole 45 minutes, but just hopefully no contact.
Yes.
Especially, again, if there is a crash at Eau Rouge in the mid-pack. 15th down to sort of last is
I think we were very lucky that Kish didn't end up coming back on the track or something and just causing absolute chaos. I mean, luckily, as you said, he barely had any contact damage at the speed and the position he went off.
Yeah, he just glanced that wall. Didn't do too much damage to him, but if he'd hit that any harder, he'd probably been driving around with his steering wheel at about 45 degrees, pointing the wrong way to what he wanted.
Not having a fun time, yeah. No. Not one of those races you want to start, especially after a great qualifying for him and a great first corner as well. As you can see, this is round 2 of 6. We're moving on to Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. And the GT Pro and the BMW M2 will be there next Monday, so you're going to tune in for 7 o'clock for that. That was the 15-minute sprint race. We're now moving on to the 45-minute main race. Dry weather will be had. 30 drivers hopefully will start off after a calamitous couple of DNFs. Honestly, there was a few DNFs in there you just think maybe just got a little hot-headed there.
Well, apart from Danny Kish losing it through diffuser stall, there wasn't that much in terms of actual contact between drivers. So the racing overall was very clean. It's just some people just got a little bit unlucky or were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Just lost a little. Luckily, no double downshifts, which we had last race, if you remember. From I think it was, who was it that went off double downshift? They were running in 3rd or 4th. I can't remember who it was, but it's the tragic double downshift that sometimes do. You get slapping that wheel a little too hard. But we're going to get the race underway. They will, of course, have once again the formation lap. As you missed it, if you missed the start of the sprint race, they can start just after the bus stop chicane, and obviously before the start-finish line. They'll have that warm-up, and it's going to be a very long warm-up. It is certainly a slow old drive out there for the drivers to get themselves ready, and of course they're all prepared. So Aiden, I'm going to throw you on the spot. After a great race from Chinchik, do you think he can do it from 10th place? Do you think he can work his way back up through that field? It's a big ask from 10th.
For a win? Probably not. Probably expecting to be 4th or 5th in the end.
I mean, it could be. We've seen some great starts, so I guess it's possible right off the start. It really depends on how awake everybody is, and obviously from 10th you can't really have a vision of what the first place and when exactly they're punching it and going, so you can try and judge it as best you can, but obviously you've got 9 cars in between yourselves that it's a little hard to sometimes watch. Obviously it's easy for us, we're watching the TV camera view effectively. Obviously they're sat in the cockpit and doing it as they can, so hopefully we'll see how it is. So anyway, we've had I think Yovski's done it before, right? He's definitely done it from 10th all the way up to 1st and won it in the sprint and the main. I'm trying to think how many. Yeah, I was going to say Michi Hoyer's done it. I'm trying to think. There's not been that many that have done the sprint and the main race back to back.
Not that I can remember. I mean, Lewis McGlade's the king of the stats in this thing. I'm sure.
Get him on the phone.
I think there's only two people that have done it, and I know Mitchy's definitely one of them. I think Erhan might have been the other.
Erhan's definitely done it, yeah. He did it. He did it back to back, in fact, I think, if I remember rightly, as in sprint and main, 2 tracks running, which was pretty incredible. That was obviously in season 2, I believe it was, in the Callaways. The good old Callaways.
The Callaway Cup.
We'll ignore that, yeah. So actually, that is a great segue to move on to. We were talking about the tyres going. It did look like the Bentley was struggling a little bit on its tyres towards the end. We were obviously talking about how the Audis were baking the tyres a little bit. Do we feel the Bentley's maybe having some issues now?
I think that might just been one driver overdoing it. I just got confirmation from Jonas Ravio that Erhan did it at Portland last time out. So yeah, Erhan. I mean, if it was going to be anybody, it was going to be Erhan, wasn't it?
I know Erhan definitely did it because that was a fantastic race.
The possibly one of, if not the best driver in rFactor 2. But I think it was just David Moche overdriving the car because
we know
his name escapes me now.
We noticed his time.
Sean Lazy driver. What's his name?
Martin Drullen.
Martin Dillon, yeah, he didn't seem to have that same issue. So I
don't think Diogo Silva did either, right? He was
just overdriving to keep Dennis Lind behind him. So I think it's going to be the Audis that will go off before anybody else this time round.
So looking good for the McLarens up the front there. We'll see whether Shinchik can work through. Don't forget Yuri Toman's going to be starting out from 6th place as well. So a real chance for him to try and make it through. Obviously had a great race in the first track as well. And you can see, obviously, as it stands, we're looking at, obviously, promotions. That's what this is all about. The GT Challenge, obviously, you want to be the winner of the GT Challenge Series, but you want to be looking to get into the season. Well, it'd be season 4, actually, the Road to GT Pro season 4, technically. After this season, of course. And you can see P1 to P5 will move through, automatically promoted to Pro. Then P6 to P10, that is where the relegation battle effectively is. You go into a head-to-head with the bottom 5 drivers coming from 25th to 30th in the GT Pro. And then further down, you will be dropping out. Now, remember, this happens quite regularly as well. So from 30th to 26th, they're going to be dropping out. That will be the pro guys. And 25th to 21st will be going in as well into that relegation. It's a heated race. It's basically a top 10 shootout, effectively, to try and get those spots in the GT Pro Series. That's where you want to be. The prize money is getting bigger and bigger every single season. You absolutely want to take part in that.
Yeah, and I think if Dennis Lynn manages to get a decent result in the top 10 in this race, he'll be safe. Obviously, he missed that first round, so he's got to claw it all back. Matt Webb's probably going to be going down because missed the first race, had a no-point score in the first race, so he's most likely going down at the end of tonight. But still a decent driver, so he'll probably be back. But I think we're all going to be watching the front to see what happens between Matt Richards and whoever else it was on the front row. It's been so action packed tonight that my brain just keeps. It was Luis Felipe Camamajan. I was going to say him as well. I've just made myself look like an idiot.
Yeah, he's starting on the pole. He was in 10th place. Matt Richards, of course, in 2nd place on the grid. Roman Jakovic in 3rd, missed out on the 4th, didn't quite catch it. Also down, Diogo Silva, great run from him. And Prezi Martona was the sprint race winner in the round 1, gets himself into 6th place. There's Dennis Lind, of course, in 9th, and Chinchik, the winner of the sprint race, will be starting from the 10th place, and then we're back to normal. So David Serra, we saw the race between him and Philip Dreis in 11th and 12th. Cedar Fire was hot on his heels with Terzi also up behind him from the Wave Free Esports in 14th, Adriansi and in 15th, and Stepovsky down in 16th place. And then it gets a little messy. Well, Christian Mikel, he was the one that doubled downshift, if I recall. Veltons also did great, 18th. But yeah, Mikel was running really well in race 1, actually. Nico Barkley down in 19th. Matt Webb all the way down in 21st. He's going to be unhappy with that. But the main one for me is Rama Malana in 22nd and Daniel Kish in 23rd. They are going to be looking to make some serious ground after great qualifying, just unfortunately having DNFs in the main race, along with Prodan Fernandez and Henry Sinnick, all having a bit of a nightmare with the DNFs.
Yeah, the thing is with the feature race, 45 minutes, provided you finish, you score points. So just keep it on track. You'll be fine.
Yeah, even if you've had a bit of an outing, get some sort of penalty, you got to keep it going. And of course, as you can see, we will have that promotion relegations coming through soon. So it will be a 45-minute main race, or thereabouts. We'll see exactly how long it takes these guys to get around on the limiter. It did take a little while before, but yes, Kapamagian starting things off from the start. No slouch, that's for sure. So he'll be looking to try and keep up with Sarah alongside. Matt Richards, sorry, not Sarah.
Yeah, Matt Richards actually has a couple of wins in GT Challenge, so he'll be wanting to get another one on the board, maximise his points. He is looking for promotion at the end of this season, so he'll be wanting to get himself a decent result here today.
Whether that Bentley can make some moves. You can see it down there at the moment. I'm looking on the front of it. See whether he can work his way through. Martin Drillen had a great little overtake towards the end there for Jean Alesi Esports. He's going to be looking to try and make some big moves. We saw, of course, some big moves at the start of the last race. We're going to make sure we don't have any diffuser issues either, so they don't go squirreling off.
I might have Dylan as my pick to win the race, you know.
You think he could work it? I mean, he absolutely has it in the locker, right? Yeah, he certainly can. But we'll see whether that you were talking about. See whether that Bentley can keep it up for 45 minutes, or whether the McLarens are just going to have them dead to rights by the end of it.
expecting Spa Francorchamps to drop off as his tyres start to die. And then you've got Jakubovic and Richards in the mix as well. So I think it'll be Dirland, Jakubovic, Richards podium.
All right, you heard it here first. We'll see. Zancho are going to squeeze up there. We didn't. So you think Dirland's going to take it? Well, don't forget they've got Martinello and Diogo Silva up behind as well. And then let's not count out the Vargas Sim Racing guys. Yuri Toman, a fantastic performance from him over the last couple of weeks. Well, throughout really in rFactor 2, he's been really performing well along with Shinchik. I'm really interested to see what Shinchik can do because he was 3 seconds faster than anybody else leading the race. Absolutely smashed it. So we want to keep his eye on him because it's a very different game when you're further down 5 grid places back effectively on that 10th place, and you can see him actually just backing off there, trying to buy himself a little bit of time as obviously the pack backs up. Here is the race getting ready to start. It will be all down to Kapamagian as he goes through the chicane. Is he just going to drop it the second he comes out the other side? Yes, it does look like he is, and that's going to make things very interesting. He has left the field for drift. Matt Richards a little slow to respond to that, but Martin Drilland already getting up alongside Jakovic. See whether he can sneak in the inside as he tries to squeeze around the outside of Jakovic and will certainly get his car ahead. Now you can see 3 of drift back there. Looks like Yuri Toman still in 7th, hasn't managed to make his way forward. But look at Rocek. Rocek up into 8th place as well, already making his way through. And that big Bentley, a little bit of contact as they come through. Rouge, they get squirrely, but he manages to save it there. I think that was Martineau. It was getting a little nudge there, and that's forced him back down to 10th place. Going 3 adrift down the Kemmel Straight. This is not going to be pretty. They're going to have to be hard on the brakes. Richards adrift, but it's going to be.
This is not going to end well.
Everybody hard on the brakes. They've gone. Toman, I think they get punted off. Chinchik's going to work his way through. No, it was Chinchik. Chinchik was the one sent off.
It's still going
through. It's still not going to work out as they're getting clobbered left and right. Now we see Toman going off the track as well. And oh my word, Chinchik does manage to save it. But he is going to be way, way, way down the field. Dennis Lind up into 5th place after that melee.
Good luck, Ruben. Oh, who's that? Is that Ian Velton's running around with his lights off. He's got the back on now. And now he's disappeared. Okay. Someone just disappeared back there. Tokarev out. Velton's disqualified. I got disqualified for not putting his lights on. That's another one. Oh, it's not gone well for people to here tonight with putting lights on. Seelavai up into 10th place. After all of that, so he's laughing. Kish up to 19th, Webb in 20th, so they're starting to make their way back up.
Wow, some craziness in there. So Rocek actually managed to recover, so he's at 8th. It was obviously Yuri Toman's still sticking around in 7th.
Just Stout out again.
Stout gone again. So another DNF him. So he's obviously just gone off in the middle sector somewhere.
So a yellow flag's out, but yeah, Ruben's going to be mashing that R-key tonight.
Replays are plenty. Right, back to the start of the field. Obviously, Matt Richards hot on Kapamagian, and you were talking about Martin Drilland, where he's going to put a challenge in. It does look like it, up into 3rd place already on. And Dennis Lind getting himself. Let's have a look at some of the replay carnage from down. So this is from Shinchik's point of view. This is actually, I think, yeah, this is where they're starting to go through drift. That's Diogo Martineau on the right there. So Martineau got punted off. Silva, just the man leading the pack, with Yuri Toman in the middle here, just sort of sandwiching out there. It's very tight. And I think that's Rocek as well, just to the right side of Shinchik. Then you can see he gets punted from behind. So nothing he could do about that. Gets punted from behind. Didn't see who it was. But is that Sarah? No, it wasn't Sarah, was it?
Oh, it's all kicking off on Kemmel Straight again with Danny Kish and co. Elias Fernandez. Oh, someone's just been pit maneuvered on the Kemmel Straight. I think it was Chinchik.
Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for Chinchik.
No, sorry, it was Fernandez. Fernandez has dropped down. Cynic has dropped down. Daniel Kish is in some sort of melee at Lake Com. And there's another car around it. Oh, almost. Oh, and they're dead. Sorry. So Boya Milan has been punted round.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And that's a rear wing gone.
Yeah, that's not going to go. So
Sarah gone as well. Sarah got absolutely fired round on the Kemmel Straight. So we were saying that we were expecting it to be a bit calmer because it's a longer race. But
yeah, only 5 minutes in. Okay, things maybe settle down. Obviously, Ruben's going to be trying to look for the replay on that one as we see the front four grinding it out at the moment. Dennis Lind's trying to catch up with this, but they have managed to get themselves a bit of a gap. It's a 2-second gap between the fourth and fifth, so starting to develop a little bit. Yuri Toman still in sixth, trying to drag himself back into this one, but it has gone a little squirrely, no doubt about it. Yellow's in sector 2 once again, flashing up there. But Cedar Virus, you were talking about, up into 10th place with Terzi in 11th. So they've made great ground here. This is from Martin Drillen. You can see hot on the heels in that big Bentley from the rear wing of Matt Richards here for second and third at the moment as they close the gap. And it was quite a big gap at one point. Okay, let's have a look. So this is from Martineau. So Martineau, we know he's going to get knocked off further down the field. So up into Eau Rouge.
I think he cuts Radion here.
That's Diogo Silva nudging through.
Yeah,
that's what's
okay, so
off.
That's why he cut it. Then everybody starts fighting.
That's Shinshik directly ahead, and Rocek on the right. This is where they get sandwiched.
Fighting for minimal pieces of tarmac.
There, that McLaren that's coming through. Yeah, so he ends up nudging the McLaren. McLaren tries to sandwich himself in there. Shinshik could do nothing about that. He just got speared. And then also Rocek takes a big old hit, but the Bentley's, well, it's a big old beast. It's Bentley on Bentley action. So, yeah, it's, I mean, we saw it. When you see 3 deep in Kemmel, coming into it.
Danny Kish, another penalty. Already.
19th, another penalty. So, I mean, you were talking about how somebody got killed down that straight. It did look like. But we'll look for more replayers on that.
Valade in the pit lane as well. Flash of the lights there. Don't know what that was for. I need an extra pair of eyes.
Screen.
I need more screens and more eyes.
So let's have a look at the movers and shakers. So this is from Diogo Silva. This is what we were talking about. So, okay, so he's going to get through here. So this is probably where you were talking about. Oh, he just, yeah. Did he get nudged from behind? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think he got nudged because...
Maybe Shinshik there with Rocek. Yeah, so he got a nudge. So that's Rocek and Shinshik ahead of him.
Oh, there we go. That was the punt in the background. So he just saw that out the sort of, you were seeing it in the corner of your eye. Is now Dearland chasing up the back end of Richards, getting ever closer. Soon be able to start reading part numbers and things like that on the car. And Richards got the big boy Bentley in his. Yeah,
you can't really miss it, can you?
Kapamajan holding on, so fair play to him here.
Kapamajan's certainly been a driver
that's had a wobble.
He's done very well. Obviously was in the relegation race for season 2, so certainly a capable driver. Dennis Lind a little adrift at the moment, so you can see that I think it's Jakovic that's just behind these front 3. There's just a slight gap between him. But it's all about drilling. Has he got enough drive? Didn't look like he's certainly very close enough. But obviously that's a big old car to try and drift on the back of the McLaren as they go up through Rouge and Radalon looking onto the Kemmel.
Might just have enough.
If he's going to do it, he's going to have to go around the outside, I think. I don't think Richards is going to give him the inside.
We know that Bentley's quite the weapon, but Rich is going defensive on the inside, so Dearland not quite enough to get past the Welshman yet. So here's a replay. So here we go. This is where we're going to see a move that the LAPD would be very, very proud of. So Chinchik comes up behind Sarah. He's forced out onto the concrete and just a bit of biff and boffing.
I mean, in fairness, he kind of had to pull left or he was going to basically eat the barrier, but you can see a lot of flashing lights, a lot of unhappiness back there.
I'm going for first, says Sarah.
Oh, Murray. Know how we miss him. Yeah, so this is from Prodan's point of view. So this was what you were talking about earlier, both biffing it into the barrier. So a bit of back and forth between the two there.
That would have been the one Acco car of Cynic has bought the farm by the looks of it. He's out. I'd like to see what that was about. But yeah, but that was Boya Milan going off at the corner after Lake On. I think it's Nalmadi.
Dylan absolutely on the rear end of Matt Richards now. He's not going to be able to make any move here unless he's going to try and drift it round the outside. He's having a look. He wants to go maybe for the undercut. Matt Richards being very defensive and working it well as they close up once again, but he's certainly having a look. Is he going to try and undercut through the chicane? Surely not. Going to try and get the inner line, but that McLaren is certainly more maneuverable than the big old Boatley as he tries to swing around. Now further down, Ramalana having a little peek. It's down in, I believe, he's further down. He's about 18th, I think, at the moment, Malana.
16th.
The 16th place, sorry, Malana and Stepkowski. But not able to catch him so far. It's all about that front three, whether they can make any moves. Also seeing Martona looks like he's right on the back end of Rocek.
Oh, and now Dylan's right at the back of Matt Richards. This is going to be where you'd expect a move to be made. Dylan going to the outside of the kink. Richards will have to have the inside line for Laycom. It looks like that Bentley's just going to be powering through any air resistance and probably swing it around the outside into Laycom here. So that's going to put Richards down into third. Oh, he's been tapped.
It's too much.
And I think Richards will just let him go. No, he's going to take the position back.
He's going to fight for it. He's not letting him take you back, that's for sure.
This is Hamilton versus Verstappen all over again. I think Dylan's got the move done into Rivage as they come down towards No Name X Speaker's Corner, Sam's Nom, whatever you want to call it. But there we go. That's Dylan into second position, and now his next target is Louis Philippe Capamajan.
Great manoeuvre around the outside. It's what you love to see. We've seen it work so many times here at Spa, and this time Martin Dillon, he had the drive down the Camel and was certainly enough to try and pull him through. Now, will anybody else try and match that? Obviously, Jakovic has been sat watching this play out, and you can see he's reeled in Matt Richards' rear wing as well, so he may have a look. As looks like Julian's going to try and stretch his legs and see if he can chase down Capamajan, as you mentioned. It's Diogo Silva, just a little drift of Martona. Martona was right on the back of Rocek. It looks like they've separated a bit, so maybe he had a move that didn't work out. Yuri Toman looks like he's also close to Dennis Lind further back down the field. You can see them just there as they try and close in.
Dylan's pulled a gap to Richards already, and now Richards is in the within striking distance of Yakubu is in striking distance of Richards, I should say. Richards is driving that thing in reverse, but Capamajan with a 1.2 second lead as they cross the line, just over half an hour remaining. So far we lost Velarde, and we've also lost Fernandez to Stoke, Tokarev and Veltins without disqualification. It's here's a replay. This is the replay of Dylan
side-by-side racing.
There wasn't actually any contact. It just looked like there was from the angle we were looking at.
Just the rear end going a little bit
just
out,
a bit of Tokyo drift onto the curb. So yeah, fair enough.
It's a big car to try and slow down and get around those corners around the outside. It's got a bit of weight behind it, but some fantastic racing, honestly, between Dylan and Matt Richards there. Great to see. As you mentioned, a bit of a akin to what we saw in the Formula 1 at the weekend. But here's Yuri Toman on the back of Dennis Lind. Yuri Toman definitely been reeling in Lind a little bit here. Slowly but surely, you can see Rocek in behind them as well, keeping his eye with the Bentley at the moment. But Yuri Toman looking to improve his position. We've still got 30 minutes to go in this race. We were talking about how it tends to be a little bit quiet. We have a little bit of spell and then goes quiet for a while. But this one looking like it's going to have action throughout at the moment. As I've got to be honest, Martin Dillon's really gaining ground on Capamajan at front. I keep looking at those timings. He is definitely gaining ground quickly. So Capamajan's going to start being on the defensive soon. But it looks like Yuri Toman hasn't quite got it in him at the moment on Dennis Lind. He's got a bit of a drift.
This is Faniella coming through now. Toman and Lind fighting for 5th overall. Lind having a decent run here tonight. Cedar Vai's got himself into the top 10. That's decent going from the Dutchman. Christian Mikel also Vinny Velux. I think it's just him and Lind remaining from that team. Nico Barkley down there 17th. I've seen that Danny Kish was in the pit lane again for some reason. But so his last few races not going to plan. He retired at the FSR race at Portugal. He's not having a good run at the minute, but now Yuri Toman right at the back of Dennis Lind here. So you might want to think that Toman might get a decent run out of La Source and maybe try and attempt to move into Lake On here.
Looking like it. It's got a good drag as they go up through Rouge and Madelon. They're going to work it well. Let's see. Okay, quick replay. But it's nice. It's a nice slidey.
Yes.
It's a nice slidey. There we go.
Had to be done.
That Bentley delivered, but great control from Drilland, honestly, to get a hold of it as it was sliding out. Back to the action as they go up through Radilon. You can see Toman right on the back of Dennis Lind, but has he got enough? I don't think he does at the moment down the Kemmel. Then again, looking like he's gaining, but I don't think he's going to have enough to go certainly around the outside. He's going to have a little look up the inside. Is Lind? No, he's not going to allow it. No chance. Can't outbrake him there on the Audi. But as you were talking about, will that Audi start to fall off? We're 15 minutes in now. We'll see how the tyres persist as we continue the racing.
This is Rami Malina and Mikel coming through Malmedy towards Rivage. 14, 15. It's all kicking off ahead of them with Drace and Adrianza there. That Bentley's almost inside that Audi.
Certainly having a good old look. Milano here on Christian Mikel behind him. Who's, I mean, due to the action with the DNFs, they've certainly made some ground. Obviously, Mikel, I think he's starting 21st, if I'm not mistaken. So, sorry, Milana did actually. You can see he's gained 8 places. So, Rama Milana did very well here. 2nd place in the sprint race in the first race overall. Round 1 of 6 here. But we're in the 2nd round, and it is Rama really looking to see whether he can make some waves. That Bentley starting to do some fantastic stuff, as we've seen. But of course, you can see Daffer's in 1 as well, so he's trying to keep him at bay at the moment. Back to the front section. Yuri Toman still hot on the heels of Dennis Lind, unable to make the move stick just yet. Rocek still watching this all play out. And of course, let's not forget about Martin Drilland up the front, still putting the chase on Capmagin. Has he got... Oh, that's a good drive. That's a good exit. Toman might have a chance here.
Yeah, the concertina effect is amplified quite a bit because of the slow speeds going through the bus stop. But Toman's probably as close as he's ever been to the back of Dennis Lind. So slipstream-a-thon up towards Lake Com. Going to get a little bit of dirty air coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. It should be okay for him.
Tell you what, not Dennis Lind, sorry, Rocek's got a lot closer as well. He's certainly gained, while they've been fighting, he's definitely gained some ground. Some big old bumps from Rocek there as he just watches this play out, looking to see if he can make any moves as they move down the Kemmel. See whether Yuri Toman's going to have a little look up the inside. I don't think he's close enough. Again, there's a little dive, but it's just almost a little late look, if anything, to force a defensive move coming out from Dennis Lind, but he's far more experienced than that. Oh, Rama's having a little go. Sorry, Daffer having a look onto Rice there. A little connection. Sort of forces his way through. That Bentley does get a little squirrely, but he works it through. Milana's probably coming through on the inside. There he is. I was about to say he was hot on their heels a moment ago, and just like that, Philip Dries is losing places. Now Christian Mikel going through. 3 places down for Philip Dries.
That's just been so crazy. The driving standards here have not been good enough, sorry. But looks like he's going to lose a couple more, maybe one more into Pouon. No, backs out of it. As now we're back up with Jakubovic. So, sorry, not Jakubovic, it's Toman.
Yeah, Yuri Toman.
I'm reading the wrong bits of...
You're looking at too many screens, what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's so busy. I need a spotter.
Isn't that what you do? Wait a minute. Rocek, though, is watching this all play out. You can see in the Bentley, looking to see if he can make this work. Got himself 2nd place, of course, in the sprint race. So he wants to try and make as much ground as he can and maximise his points after a great start. Cedar Vire and Terzi up into 10th and 11th. So they've really gained ground by everybody else's mistakes at the moment as they try and work the way through the field. But that time at the front is slowly whittling. Drilling now, you can see down to 0.7 he was just off Capmagin. So he is gaining ground on the leader. And that Bentley is starting to make it work. But this is the battle, certainly, we're looking at the moment. Yuri Toman in 6th and Dennis Lind in 5th. as they try and chase down as many points as they can get.
Penalty for Martin Dearland. Oh dear, that will be track limits. That's going to put Matt Richards back into third and Jakubic into fourth. So it's a good thing I didn't put any money on him actually winning the race.
Yeah, I mean, you thought he might do, but yeah, well, track limits, that's definitely a problem. We know all about that, that's for sure. And that's going to throw Dylan completely out the running. He was gaining ground as well, but that's great for Capomaggi. Capomaggi can be happy now.
I think he may have just cut Radion a bit too much on that occasion, because that's where it came up. But whether it's a stop, go, or a drive-through, it's the long pit lane. He is absolutely done for this race.
Yeah, talking about how it's the longest, effectively. That also means, obviously, we're going to see pretty much everybody moving up a spot. There's going to be way too far out. Are we going to see some of these cuts? Here we go. This is from Dylan. So let's see, up through Eau Rouge into Radillon. And he's going to go wide here. Yeah,
that wasn't even subtle.
Yeah, way too wide.
Yeah, that's... if that was turn 4 at Bahrain, he would have got away with it, but not here. It's all done by rFactor 2. It's an automated system. If it picks you up in the box that it determines as being off, what can you do? So we might even see it again at Silverstone through Copse and Stowe, where you can easily pick one up.
Ferris pointing out that he did it just like me. I'm not sure that's something to be proud of, Ferris, but there we go, get it done by the track limits. But looking good. So that means, of course, that actually Jakovic may want to try and put a challenge in here. There's Dylan, so I guess he's gone into the pits right now, as everybody will move up a spot. And now, of course, this means this battle between Thoman and Lind is going to be for 4th place now, as they are looking to try and challenge out for those podium positions with 23 minutes remaining. And as you can see, it is the endurance layout, so Martin Dillon's going to be a long old pit run for him as everybody comes screaming past.
Just got to hope, because the pit lane exit is here. So he doesn't want to come out in any traffic, but he should be okay for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay. He's in 19th, so I think Prodan may just pass him as well. You know, obviously Kish has already said
he'll be out in front
so
of
he's
Kish
going to be ahead of him, yeah. But Jakovic putting some pressure onto Matt Richards now, realizing this is for 2nd place, so feeling the pressure from behind from Lyndon Thoman. They've been racing hard and now gaining ground on 1st and 2nd. That's the view from Martin Dillon as he now comes out. And my word, isn't it a long old pit run, that one? Jeez, on the full limiter. That is a lot of time wasted.
Only just leaving now. So he's back on track, but he's still got 48 seconds to Daniel Kish, so all good.
So it's Inavire up into 9th place. Great from him, obviously, after a shocking qualifying once again. I think it was, what, 23rd, 22nd in qualifying from the before the sprint race. So we said this last week. He made up the ground, and he's done it once again. So it's working out well. Terzi been following all the way as well. You can see in terms of times they're very much next to each other as well. But at the moment, Jakovic is actually under pressure from Dennis Lind. So Yuri Toman has sort of fell off the challenge a little bit, if you will. And now Audi maybe feeling it's his chance before his tyres start to drift away on the rears. But that's a little wide from Jakovic. So Lind definitely graining. But look at this. Matt Richards also being pulled into it.
Yeah, it's a throwaway scrap for 2nd place now. It's gone completely against any predictions. So maybe it's due to the BOP for this round.
Well, they're all getting a good drive. Let's see who comes out quickest on the corner, because it's all about getting the drive now. You need to be hot on the power, because it is flat out all the way up through Eau Rouge, through Radillon, down the Kemmel. And if you didn't get a good exit, it's going to cost you all the way until you hit max, and preferably keep it in the track limits as everybody does there. Certainly from Matt Richards' point of view, he got a good exit. Jakovic looks like he's kept himself just ahead. Dennis Lind is hot on his heels. Is he going to look to dive up the inside? No, doesn't have the distance just yet. Tries to cut it as close as he can, though. So Dennis Lin gets a little squirrely there.
Andrea Terzi's just had some sort of off. He's absolutely stacked it. Exit of Eau Rouge.
He's took what's his name with him. Cedar Via's gone with him.
Oh no!
Yeah, so Cedar Via was in front of him, so clearly they've connected from there. So it looks like
Via's still going at least. But Matt Webb is up to 13th.
So yeah, that's the two. They were in 8th and 9th. They were running in, I believe, or 9th and 10th. Not too sure. Rama Milano up into 9th place, by the way, Rama. So great drive from him. I think he's gained about 10 places so far in this race. So he is absolutely flying. Back to the front, we can see once again Dennis Lin continued to be under pressure from Yuri Tome with this front four. I wonder at what stage somebody's going to try and make a move, or whether one little error. There's only 20 minutes to go in this race, and there's definitely still plenty of points out there to be had with the drivers going off, as you say. Terzi and Via running now in 17th and 19th, so definitely had a connection. We'll try and look at that in a moment, but it's all about this run. But let's not forget, Luis Felipe Capamagian having a great race, because Martin Dulin was done for the penalty with the cutting. He was being chased down, make no doubt about it. He was being charged down, but now he's got himself a big gap. Richards is going to have to be defensive. Everybody behind him is going to cost him. So it's looking great for a win for him.
Yeah, that gap has absolutely shrunk, as we see Andrea Terzi.
He went through, off, collected the bat. Oh my word! It was
how did Cedar Via hit that wall that hard?
How is Terzi still running?
Still going?
How is that? What in the world? What? I mean, it looked.
What's that McLaren made of?
Well, it was Terzi that connected the barrier, right? That came across and hit Via.
Via also hit something at super high speed.
Yeah, because
there seems to be no damage on the thing.
Well, they're currently running in 17th and 19th. The McLaren going to get contacted by Secret Service soon, because they're going to
look at some sort of black ops car on 360 no scope from Cedo. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to get a point of view. Yeah, so Terzi obviously loses it in Eau Rouge. He goes. Oh no, it's Via that goes off. Via that goes off. He collects Terzi, right? So it's Via that went off. He lost it in Radillon, yeah. Then down the Kemmel he goes. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Yuri Toman having a little look on Dennis Lin there. Just a little peek at the inside. Not quite enough, though. They are all very close now. Well, we were talking about how well they were doing, but I guess
it's just how. I want to know how those cars are still going.
Still running. And they didn't lose the wings. They didn't lose anything. No. They just like rolled and carried on. It looked like I'm pretty sure that Terzi lost his wing. Yeah, Terzi.
I saw no wing on the back of that car, and Cedo should have lost a wheel doing that.
It should have lost everything.
Well, Terzi's just coming to the pits, so
so Terzi's in the pits because he lost his wing and such. So he's going to be in the pits. But
this train's almost.
It's now 5.
It's almost an actual train. It's
Rocek and Martono's caught up.
Might as well just couple them all together. There's the yellow in sector 2. That's now been cleared. So it's Richards, Yakubovic, Lin, Toman, Rocek, Martino catching up to the back of that as well. Something just happened.
Dries and Webb just gone past, I think it was Stepkowski, was it? But Shinchik's actually up to 15th now because of all this action ahead of him. He's regaining positions. He's still a long way adrift, but those guys are all close. Webb's just took Dries as well, so some action happening between 12th and 15th at the moment. So also we're watching obviously these front 6 effectively, as they're all close to one another.
I'm just seeing that the gap between Richards and Yakubovic, it closes up on some laps, but then Richards manages to open it back out to about half a second between the two of them. So either it's some sort of management from Richards, or he's making little tiny mistakes here and there. I'm not sure, but still very interesting to watch. As here is the replay. Oh, here we go. Somebody say hard. Just yeet. Wait for it. Oh,
doink. And then he just clips the back end of Terzi. That's unlucky. Terzi probably thought he was through and out, but didn't quite work out for him. Yuri Toman still chasing them down for the Vargas Sim Racing onto Dennis Lind, who's been holding steady. Hello, we're too wide back there. Where was this? That was Webb, I believe. Where's it? Stepkovsky, isn't it? Stepkovsky then with Dreiss. And there's Chinchik from 15th place. Obviously starting out in 10th, had a connection in the first lap. Managed to fight his way back in there, Chinchik. So obviously the winner of the sprint race as well. So we know he'd certainly got it in that 650S, the McLaren. Looking good for him at the moment. See whether he can get it back into the top 10 with 14 minutes remaining. It's certainly doable because that's 10th place. You can see the orange car, right? That's the 10th place. Adriansi, yeah. Look the front though, much closer. Matt Richards, Jakovic once again hot on each other. Looks like they've give Dennis Lind the slip a little in terms of times. As we see Chinchik continuing to chase down, watching from Nico Barkley's front here. It is very tight back here. Now remember Dreiss has lost a couple of positions already. Obviously he had, 3 slide past him at one lap. So had a bit of an off. Didn't work out for him. Philip Dreiss, unfortunately, not working out so well for him as they go sliding through Radulon and onto the... Tell a lie, I've lost my position. No, I was right. I was going through Radulon there.
Oh, there we go.
16th place, so trying to squash. There's no space there. What are you doing? Philip Dreiss just squashing. I think it was Nico Barkley that had. I mean, he couldn't go anywhere.
Why were you turning right on a straight when there's a car on the inside of you?
Okay. One can only guess. I didn't see him. There was no. My mirror's gone.
Car on your right.
Car on your right. Yeah. So, back to the front. Matt Richards holding them off at the moment. Jakovic under pressure now from Dennis Lind once again. As you say, whether Matt Richards is just measuring this out or whether he's just maintaining the gap effectively, because it does look like they're not going to catch Gap Mansion unless anything happens crazily in the next 12 minutes. Rocek still some distance off to get involved in this, but certainly this is the time now as we close on the 10-minute marker. This is when we're going to start seeing some drivers start to get a bit squeaky and try and make some of those moves work, make one of them stick. Christian Merkel certainly looking to try and make it stick here on Adrianza for that top 10 spot. And Merkel at the moment, both in the Bentleys, of course. Merkel's in the Audi.
Well, technically they're both Audis.
Wow, he's lost it. See ya. I mean, that's just a pure pressure.
He survived.
He's survived, but he's lost a lot of space. And Matt Webb on the grass going through, but he manages to make it work. That was a little scary at that speed.
YOLO.
I think we're hearing the pure pain from Aiden. Oh, he's just sent it up the inside. He can't break that, surely. Absolutely. There's no way he can outbreak himself there. And he just caught the back end of Stepkovsky. Does manage to get past him. Where is Chinchik in all this? Because he's going to be on the back end of Adriansi as well now. He will be. That Bentley is a dangerous orange mobile right now. I would steer clear.
Yeah. That's... Wow. I'm gonna have to ask him about that one later. Just send it across the grass.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're not accelerating, it's kind of okay. You can get away with it. You sort of cut back on quick enough that you don't have to hit the brakes or the thing. Otherwise, you're just going to be off and gone. But hello, Dennis Lind taking a different line there. Toman looking at trying to squeeze a move as he has a little peek inside Jakovic. Still not working out for him, but that's what he said. As we approach that last 10 minutes, we hit that crazy moment where everybody starts to make those moves. Let's have a look at the replay here, Aidan.
Right, so this is Stepkovsky up behind Matt Webb.
He's almost fully on the grass.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wonder if Jimmy Allison will have anything to say about that, because he'd be like, well, you passed him off. Okay, that's a dive bomb and a half.
Yeah, that was the. I mean, there's no way he was ever going to break that. It's just a full send and see what happens. I think honestly for Richards, I think he was lucky he didn't get clouted out on the bus stop there. To be honest, he played it well to make sure. A little bit of track limits being forced there, I saw from this front four. Everybody going off. So Dryce, yeah, I mean, as expected, he did get a bit of a hit there. So that was that a penalty? Was that a drive? Terzi's back in the penalty in the pits as well. Still looking for that rear wing.
Yeah, Terzi's getting a new wing brought in. Dryce, I think, is also getting repairs done. So that's their race is effectively over. But still, Matt Webb, he's laughing at the minute, up into 11th, but still coming under.
I tell you what, that's a second gone from the leader. Matt Richards is gaining ground on Kapamagin here. He has left Jakovic for dust. He's pulled a second away. They were close to one another. Richards may be trying to send it here. Maybe he's just been measuring it enough that he's got 10 minutes to go to chase down the leader.
Yeah, I just had the words Matt's on a mission. Predator mode, phaser set to kill, etc. So Matt Richards is thinking, I want that win.
May well be able to go for it. Who is this with a problem? That's Cito Vire, I believe, that's pulling over. Well, I'm not too surprised that McLaren's having issues. It's hit the barrier at about 200. But it's still going strong. It's
made of something strong, whatever it is. Patent it and sell it. It's you make an absolute fortune.
So Dennis Lind still chasing down, still with Yuri Toman on his back. Now we're starting to question, has the Audi rear wheels got enough? Toman certainly wants to question it in the McLaren as he looks once again at Toman. And this coming into the pits is going to be Terzi coming out of the pits, sorry, for the Freedom Wave Esports. He's got a rear wing back, boys. He's back.
And Dryce finally leaving the pit lane.
It's a long run.
it's horrible how long that pit lane is on the limiter.
So Dennis Lind, now or never, is he going to try and catch up? You can certainly see Matt Richards has spaced himself out, but he's still not gaining too much on Kapamagin. It looks like Kapamagin's answered the charge as Lind almost eats up the back end of that McLaren as he charges down hard on the brakes with Yuri Toman pounding down behind him as well. As they once again close in down the straight. Let's see what Yuri Toman's got here. Has he got close enough? Has Lind got close enough? It looks like they may do, and now they're going to be hard on the power up into Rouge, through Radilon and onto the Camel, and then they're all looking about who can get the best draft. Sorry, not the drift. I don't want them to see them going sideways. The draft. Maybe we'll see them going sideways. We've had enough of that down the Camel so far today, and I don't think any of them are close enough. I think Toman's going to have a little peek, but I think it will just force Lind to be defensive.
See the onboard from Yuri Toman next to his sort of little stat screen there, whatever you want to call it. So you've got the driver's eye view as there's a yellow sector 1. Looks like it's nothing. Richards 1.6, 1.7 off the back of Kapamagin now. You can well and truly see Kapamagin as they go up towards Pouhon. This is Yuri Toman again, up the back of Dennis Lind. Nothing to be done here. It'll be quite brave to want to attempt to pass into that first part of Pouhon. You've got to be careful not to pick up a track cut on the exit there as well.
Interested to see what chat thinks is their driver of the day so far. For me, Ramo Alana's the one that's made, I think, the most ground up, certainly up into ninth place.
Because
certainly Yuri Toman's right on him.
Yeah. Has that Audi caught Audi?
Yellows in sector 2. Let's see if that's going to cause any problems.
I saw Adrianza drop a bit.
He's gone. He's gone out of the top area. Yeah, so maybe he's drifted out of it. Shinchik's up into 13th actually as well. So yeah, definitely something's happened back there. So now Shinchik's going to be on to Stepkowski to see whether he can chase it down. 5 minutes to go now. Matt Richards still a bit adrift here in terms of timing.
I think Adrian's clattered a wall somewhere because that thing ain't driving in a straight line anymore.
Takes a lot to damage that Bentley. He's dead. He's gone.
Oh, he just did a handbrake turn at Stavilo at Fania for reasons.
I mean, obviously, I guess he took tyre damage or something. Clearly clattered somewhere. Let's have a look. Here we go.
It looks absolutely
down into Rouge. Oh, it cuts in the air. Bouncing. Trying to fight it. Bang.
F.
Gone into the trees and done.
I mean, you can do that in iRacing, but
I like the slow-mo spin. This is nice. Ruben's giving us some pleasure right now. Anyway, it doesn't affect the front leaders at the moment. I guess you wouldn't have back leaders. It doesn't really work, does it? I think I'm embracing the Murray at the moment. But Rocek now obviously in 6th place. Got himself 2nd place overall in the sprint race as well. So a great race from him. Diogo Silva, Martino trying to do what he can. Stepkowski has Shinchik hot on his rear wing. And of course, Matt Webb up there as well after his fearsome grass overtake. Shinchik trying to recover after a nightmare start for Shinchik, really. Nothing he could do about it. He just got clattered. It was 3 deep, in fairness, going down the Kemmel. So we expected some sort of fireworks. That was all in the first lap. Yellow's in sector 1. Has somebody else gone off at Rouge or Radilon? We're seeing a few. Throw down through the pits, so that's going to be a slow one for him. Yuri Toman chasing down. It does look like Matt Richards' charge has been cut short. He's not going to be able to chase down Capomagin. We're going to have about 2 more laps at most, I would say. Here is 3 minutes to go. That's Adriansi. Yeah, he's still going. He's still going. Wants those points, but it looks like he's fighting that Bentley. Oh, hello, what's that? He's gone off that. That's got to be Adriansi. That's Prodan watching him down the wing. He's bouncing down the camel. He's all over the shop.
This is...
Avoid, panic, brake.
Why didn't you pit?
I think he just thought the race was going to end, maybe. Just thought it wasn't worth it. I don't know. But, I mean, he's not going to salvage any places at that state.
When you're driving a car that's clearly not fit for purpose.
Yeah. Get off the damn track.
You would have got a meatball flag anywhere else. So just cut. You were going to finish last anyway. Just pit. Ah, dear. In sector 2.
That's why we're seeing the. That's why we're seeing the yellows. Yeah, and it's actually going to cause problems, especially when the race leaders get back around. It could cause a real issue. Maybe see some serious penalties if it does. But at the moment, Richards is DNF now. 2nd place, so he's been binned. Adriansi, so he's gone, which is good. That means it's safe for the rest of these drivers to come on through, because we're going to see some overtakes here. That's Shinchik blasting on past Stepkowski, so he's now up into 12th place. A great recovery from him. I think he came from 12th place. Oh, Stepkowski's got a penalty as well, so Shinchik goes through, but I think from 28th, if I'm not mistaken, Shinchik managed to recover it, so certainly worked his way back up there. Definitely looking at another driver of the day, possibly, after really an unforced error for him when he got binned at the start of the race. Look at that, Ram Milano. I knew he'd gone strides, but look at that, 13 places he's made up along with Matt Webb at 10th places.
Yeah, now Richards has dropped right back now because Jukiewicz has caught back up to the back of the Welshman. Next lap will be the last lap. So, it's sort of been as you were at the front for the most part. Lind up to 4th.
Yeah, nobody's really been close enough. Like we thought, maybe we'd see someone making a push for it, but I guess there's a fine line between making an overtake and making a massive error and costing yourself a lot of points. You know, at this stage, obviously, they're all top 5, so it's all good points for them at the moment, as Lind does have a little look up the inside of Jakovic there. A little peek to see if it could work out. Doesn't quite work out as it was, though. Did get a nose ahead for a brief moment there, but that may be just showing signs as we go into the final lap.
Yeah, that's the source for the final time. Then goes either defensive or offensive. So it's practically a four-way scrap for second here. So practically it is a four-way scrap for second.
It is a four-way scrap. Yeah, Yuri Toman definitely wants a little peek there. I think Rocek's just going to be a viewer from behind to see if anybody makes a mistake. Matt Richards in second place, I would say, leading this pack as Luis Philippe Capamagian and the lead. Here we go, hard on the brakes. Jakovic all over the back there. Dennis Lind putting the pressure onto Jakovic, trying to make it work as they get a little squirrely. All the tyres fighting for as much grip as they can in this final lap here. A lot of pressure as we see him going defensive around the outside. Dennis Lind, that's going to be tricky for him. He's got to be careful. Yuri Toman might squeeze up the inside of him, and he's certainly having a look to see if he can make it work around the outside, but they're going to cut back and positions remain the same.
Put on for the final time. That might have bought Matt Richards a tiny bit of breathing space. This is Marcel Chinchik up the back of Matt Webb as they battle for 11th place here, coming through. No name Speaker's Corner for their last time. Matt
Great
Webb
drive from Chinchik to gain up there, though. But yeah. I mean, to come back from what happened to him at the start, nothing he could do about it. I don't know what sort of damage he's been fighting with throughout the race as well. Back to the front here as we watch Rocek in this Bentley trying to look to see if he can gain any mistakes in the final lap here. Luis Felipe Capamagian has led from the start. Hasn't really been under too much pressure. Once Martin Drillen was given the penalty, that was kind of the end of the challenge for him as he's slowly approaching bus stop. You can see the red car up the front. You can see his point of view as well as we watch Rocek there. And look at this. That was Lind once again having a little peek up the inside. But Capamagian, he's going to go over the line. He will be the winner of the main race. Led from the start. A great race from him. Dennis Lind almost getting past Jakovic on the line there. Not quite enough to get past. Matt Richards, of course, finishing second. Dennis Lind in fourth. Toman in fifth. Rocek in sixth. Martono in seventh. Diogo Silva in eighth. Mama Milano. What a great race from him in ninth place here. Putting the pressure on. Chinchik right on the back of Matt Webb, but it looks like Webb's got enough to hold on in 11th place. It will be a 12th for Chinchik. Nico Barkley down in 13th, and Martin Dillon in the end in 14th position. Let's have a look at the replay. This is Dennis Lind having a go on Jakovic. See if he can make it work as they go through bus stop. Gets a great drive, a little bit too bustly, I feel there, but in the end, Jakovic does get the acceleration and finish in third.
The rear end of that car was a bit bashed in as well, so he must have copped a whack at some point on that final lap, but that was such a close finish after 45 minutes of racing. I think there was probably less than half a tenth in that, but there is your winner, Luis Philippe Capamagian in the Audi for HM Engineering. Winner from start to finish, so defied the pre-race predictions that the Audi would burn its rear tyres out. Matt Richards struck second for Sancho Supersport. That'll be great for his championship run so far. Jakubovic in third. So I got two of my three podium finishes correct. Wrong order, but there we go. But Dennis Lind in fourth for Developed. So that will be brilliant for his championship run. He should stave off relegation at the end of the evening. Yuri Toman in fifth. Ben Rocek in sixth for Burst Esport. Presley Martano for JMX Phantom. He's in seventh. Diogo Silva in eighth. And then Andika Ramamalana for Legion Races in that strikingly purpley coloured Bentley. They're in ninth. And then Christian Mikel for the Nita Velux in 10th. So two Nita Veluxes in the top 10. That's going to be great for them and for the rest of their season, I think.
A great race for Milana, gaining, I think it was 14 places in the end there, getting himself up into ninth place. So really good start recovering from what was a tragic sprint race. Matt Webb as well, we saw him at the end holding off Marcel Chinchik. Chinchik starting from 10th place, ending in 12th after a spin on the first lap. Nico Barkley 13th for him. Martin Dillon serving a penalty, ending up in 14th place after his second place charge and then going off the track a little bit. Daniel Kirsch, well, he had a nightmare start in the sprint race and that cost him all the way through. Celia Vaya, we saw him going very wide off the track and slamming into the barriers, and somehow that McLaren still made it over the line. Stepkowski in 17th, Prodan down also in 17th apparently, but I believe that's going to be in 18th place. Philip Dries in the end, after having a bit of a nightmare, going in 19th, and Adriansi finally getting himself in that 20th place despite a DNF, despite that car limping around for 2 laps.
Yeah, Andrea Terzi in 21st for Wayframe Esports after missing that rear wing, and he finished plumb last. So he lost Giancarlo Velarde, Henry Sinek, David Serra, Boya Milan, Ilias Fernandez, Jake Stoke, Vlad Tokarev, and Ian Velton's disqualified for not putting his headlights on at the start of the race. Tragic.
What a way to go out a race. We saw it obviously in the sprint race as well. But where was the daylight we were promised? we were told this was going to get brighter as the race goes on, but apparently not. We had it through night throughout the way. But what a fantastic race in there, Aidan. Some cracking manoeuvres, some questionable manoeuvres, no doubt about it, but action-packed throughout the 45.
Yeah, I'm certain Jimmy Allison will have something to say about some of the driving in that. I think someone put it in chat. Yeah, it is hilarious for the first 15 minutes or so, but it quickly gets tiring. You just want to see some good racing instead of people crashing. You know, these are the best drivers in rFactor 2, so I think they
absolutely
start acting like it.
And if you think back to obviously the great race, we saw manoeuvres between Richards and Drilland at the start. The second and third battle was fantastic. They were neck and neck, side by side for half the lap, and finally gave the position. Drilland managed to make it stick there. So we know that the drivers have it in them. Just occasionally, red mist maybe descends. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we saw a couple of police manoeuvres in there. A lot of people dropping it through Eau Rouge and Radillon there. Quite a few of those throughout the sprint and the main race, of course, which did actually, in fairness, cause a few DNFs, because they are certainly Terzi that got collected by Cito Vaya.
I'm trying to find out what that car's made of, because that thing should not have survived that impact at that much of a high speed, but still Cito managed to finish the race, and Terzi lost his rear wing in all of that, so it happens, doesn't it? It's sometimes you get lucky with these kind of things, and sometimes you don't. So, but with the track limits at Radillon, some drivers just trying to cut it as fine as they possibly can for that extra half a tenth or whatever, and it catches people out. So, if that was going to be anywhere that people were going to pick them up, it was going to be there, and I expect penalties to be coming in at Silverstone as they go too wide through Copse and Stowe.
And for you guys out there, if you think you're good enough to race against these guys, you've got a bit of work to do, I would suspect, but you have got a chance at qualifying for the BMW Sim Racing Cup. That's going to be on the 8th to 10th of April. That'll be for the Nürburgring. Of course, for the GT Challenge and the GT Pro, we're going to be heading to Silverstone next, of course. For the GT Challenge, it will be in 2 weeks' time on the 12th of April. For the GT Pro, it will be next Monday. That's where we'll be hitting things up in Silverstone. A strong chance at rain, perhaps, there, Aidan. What do we think? It generally happens at Silverstone.
We're going to keep hyping up rain at Silverstone. It's not going to happen now, is it? So
every time I go there, it bloody rains.
I would love to see rain at the next race, because they say that rain is the great leveler, and given how things have gone in GT Pro with the draft and the way that things have been balanced there, it might help some of those guys who are near the back come forward in their slower cars and see what happens there. So yeah, rain, Silverstone, give us what we want.
Great to see. We've had a couple of winners, as you can see. Martono was at Imola in the sprint race, Yuri Toman in the main race. Obviously here at Spa, we've had Maso Cinchik in the sprint race, and of course now Kapamazian in the main race. So great to see multiple winners, not one person dominating it, although Yuri Toman was certainly up there putting a challenge in. As you say, we're going to be moving to Silverstone. That will be on the 12th of April for the challenge, but next week tune in, and once again at about 7:20, that will be Central European Summer Time. We're now on summer time, I should throw that out there. That will be for the BMW Sim M2 Cup, and of course that will be followed by the GT Pro. If you don't catch us, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's your rFactor love? Get in there. But Aidan will be there. I'll be there. Lewis McGlade will be joining us, and Renee Butler. Don't forget Cameron Roger as well. Almost forgot him, but he's my co-commentator. I'll be there as well. I'll see you next time.